Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review, we're going to be looking at the 2023 Universal Monsters crossover. This is Frankentron. So we're going to unbox him live in a second, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. We're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes, help you decide how you want to display him. And although the original mould is only, I think, 2018, is it, from Siege maybe? They've already got more than their money's worth from it, so we can see all of these together and see how they display together. Easily one of my favorite molds. I think they look great. We will of course do some other figure comparisons, and we can have a brief look as well at him with the original Universal Monsters crossover, which was of course the Draculus as well. Right, so before we get started, I need to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel that I'd hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really will help me out. We're going to have a quick look at the artwork in the box, and I'm also going to thank In Demand Toys in the UK, which is where I purchased this from, and they got him to me nice, quickly and safely. Now, this completely blew me away, to be fair. I never realised that it was, of course, based on an old VHS video. It's so detailed. I didn't realise that at all, so that is something that I just think is really clever. It's something that's, yeah, exactly that. For us old people who remember what VHS were, that is a brilliant little touch. Now, I don't think that I can slide it all the way out. I don't want to, just in case it damages it. Let's see if we can open. Can we? I don't know. You see, as I said, I'm completely new to this. Obviously, I can open the main figure here. So let's see if we can get him out without having to damage any of the packaging, because that's the last thing I want to do. No, this must be able to slide all the way out. Unless I'm doing something completely wrong, guys. What I'm going to have to do then very quickly, because I don't want to damage the packaging, is just work out a way to get this out and come straight back to you. Okay, so what I had to do, and I'm just letting you guys know for when you get your copy as well, you have to pretty much open it from this side and take it out that side, because there's these flaps on the inside there that this just gets caught on, so you won't be able to get it out. So that should obviously hopefully help you guys out as well. So there he is in the packaging, this lovely new little effect there. Looks great. I can't see if there's anything else, to be honest. It looks like that's just about it. Oh, the other accessory is there. So what I need to do now is obviously set him free, and we can do some first impressions. Okay, so I've set him free from the packaging, and it's time for some first impressions. And already I just think it looks great. It's such a brilliant idea. I know obviously there was a Frankenstein I suppose character in one of the early generation 1 cartoons, but you've still got to admit that this just really works. I've just noticed they've got the inverted hands, which obviously now makes it look, I suppose, like he is like a sort of a zombie or just walking with his hands out. So the hands are completely inverted, that you can't turn them around at all, which is again just another great little bit on there. The head sculpt is fantastic. That really is very detailed. Loads of lines, little bits of silver there where it looks like they pinned it together. Red eyes, full articulation. You can see it even looks up and down slightly as well. I suppose, is that like a blood effect inside there? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Loads of extra detail on the other side, which is great. The arms will go all the way out to the side. They will spin all the way around, completely unrestricted. They will swivel at the bottom underneath the shoulder. You've got your bicep flexion, and as you can see, you've got a little bit of wrist movement, but that is mainly just for transformation. You could sort of say it's an ab crunch, but it's not really. It's just where you're bending at the waist. It does swivel all the way around in the upper chest. The legs will kick all the way out. There you go, past the point of the splits, and they will also go right out to the side as well. Let me just see, I'm saying that, let me just make sure they do. Yep, they do. You can see how they're moving as well, so it'll swing backwards and forwards on there. There's a swivel underneath at the top of the hip. There's a knee bend, ankle tilt and rock, and once again, great figure, great articulation, and I'm really loving that extra part with the hands. There's one of the, I suppose, blast effects, which looks fantastic. We're going to see how that fully attaches a bit later on, and the coil we've got there as well. So there's the 2 accessories, looking great. Let's have a look at him in his alternate mode before we come back and do the other comparisons. So we're back, and as you can see, he's in his alternate mode. Quick apologies, no transformation process on this video. Main reason is to keep the length of this video down, and also because I've uploaded it separately in a tutorial, so that will help you out as well. And look at the detail on this, it's fantastic. And I know that we haven't put all these parts on yet. I'm going to show you that in a second. There's all these bits that I've never noticed in the pictures that I've seen of the figure. These Decepticon logos here on the side just look great. I mean, look at the detail, and you've got all the silver there on the inside of the treads. Obviously these don't move around at all. You've got silver at the front, there's gunmetal greys, the green colors just work. It's just you wouldn't believe, I suppose, that it's the same figure as one of these. In fact, you put the two side by side, and I know that obviously it's just a color scheme difference, but they are so different. It's crazy how different they are. If you're wondering which version this is from the triple pack, which has got the different head and of course the hazard ones on it. But this, again, the color scheme just really works. Now obviously we can do the same thing where we can attach the gun. Now there's two ways of doing this. You can have this have a little bit further range of motion just by popping that hole in there, and then this means that it sticks out that little bit further, but it's a little bit looser then when it's like that. Whereas if you do what it looks like you're supposed to do, you can get this lined up, one in each of these, clip that into place. Ooh, line it up properly. That's just came out of there we go. Now it is in much sturdier, and then it'll hold in place. You can lift it up and down. That looks good enough as it is by itself, but then of course you can add this blast effect to it as well, which just turns it into a completely different, I don't know what to say. As I say, I'm just completely stunned, I think, with how good this actually is. I liked the pictures when I first saw it. It was an instant purchase for me. In fact, it was such an instant purchase, it's why I went back and indeed found one of these to go together, because they just, it's really good. It's really surprised me, I suppose, how good it is. So although it's just a deluxe figure, you know, it's just a few size comparisons here for you. So it's a little bit bigger than the JPG, nowhere near as long as drag strip, but obviously a little bit higher, a little bit bigger than that. I've got a few other figures here just I suppose for some comparison. Obviously nowhere near as big as Masterpiece Trailbreaker, but then on the same hand, way bigger than some G1 mini bots. But as I say, it's just your normal standard deluxe size figure. But the other thing I've noticed with this is, again, it's got an abundance. I'm just seeing if there's any more. Actually, no, you've got your 3 holes on the back, you've got one on the side. At the front they've got the 2 there, which this hasn't got, but you've still got the ones on the side. There you are, there's additional ones on this particular version, but you can still then take any weapons that you want. I've got quite a few hanging around, so let's have a look what sort of, I suppose, yeah, combining things we can do. So I've got drag strips, weapons, and to be fair, I think the color scheme on this is going to make it work really well with the dark purple and the dark color there. That doesn't actually look too bad. There's one of the original Impactors guns that's going to fit on the top of there. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun with this. You can mix and match your weapons, you can add them all on. Bot Bender will have an absolute field day with this figure. It is so good and so much fun. There's nothing more for me to say about this particular mode though, so let's come back. In fact, let's have a look at a bit more of the details. So as I said, I think it is the red inside there is supposed to perhaps be blood, and as I said, you can lift this up and you can rotate. I forgot to even show you that. You can rotate this all the way around, which is great, and I've already pointed out all the 5mm ports. If you wanted to, you could turn that way, but then you can just see a few things under there, so it's nice to keep it covered. But as I said, loads of things you can do with this, and indeed I'm sure you'll agree it looks great. There we go. Let's have a look at him back in his robot mode. Right then, back for the final time with him in his robot mode, and let's see how he looks with his accessories and how he displays and compares. And once again, I'm just noticing new things every time I see it. There's another Decepticon logo right there on his chest, and again, I think they've really made an amazing effort with all the detail on this. We're going to have a look at detail comparisons in a minute with normal Impactor, but they've added, you know, studs and all bits inside here, so I think all these little bits do look really good. Now you've got a couple of ways I think you can display these accessories. Let's have a look what they've done. It looks like they've put this attached to the shoulder, and then again just attached this via that particular port. I'm not too sure, actually, looking at that, how that's gone. Perhaps it's gone in the side like so. I think that's pretty much it. That's one way you can do it. To be fair, I don't really like it that way. I think it must have been that way, or from the fist and in. It looks reasonable, but there's far better ways that you can display this. Even though the hands are inverted, you just got to turn at the forearm like so. You can then attach this via the 5mm peg, and that looks like he's got that in his hand, which I'm sure you'd agree looks way better. And indeed the same for this. So just rotate the forearm. In fact, let's turn it that way, because you can't really tell that the hand's now inverted, and that looks like another way, which looks a good way to display him. Again, there's so many different ports on this. It's up to you how you're going to, and indeed how you want to. I think you are sort of encouraged to attach it to the forearm with the fact that it's there, but it will, as you can see, it will fit in the hand. It is more awkward that way. It'd have to fit in the back of the hand, but exactly as you saw in the other mode, you can get the rest of the accessories, any accessories you want with the 5mm ports, and then you can completely armor him up. Let's have a quick look, actually, just out of interest, how they decide to do it in robot mode in the instructions. So it is saying, funnily enough, there to attach that all as one, but attach it to the side of him, which I find quite odd, but let's do what it says just to have a look at it. So it looks like that's going to go in there. I think that perhaps that's an additional part to it, and then this will come out and it will attach on the top there. So maybe that could be obviously the lightning strike coming down or whatever, to make him alive. But either way, it looks good. Right, quick things what we need to do then. We need to start to have a look at him compared with some of the impactors. So let's have a look, and you can see, in fact, let's see if I can remember which was the first one. I think that's the first one. I'm hoping that I'm correct with that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure this is the first one because he's an Autobot. And what we've got here, so if we have a look, yeah, look at the detail in the thighs. There's loads of different detail in that. I'm just making sure that I've got them the right way around now. So yeah, you can't see the join, which you can do there where the swivel is. It's all hidden and tucked away, unless I've got that wrong. But anyway, I want to show you the different parts, so you can make out the chest's obviously different, head sculpt is obviously very different. The treads and the detail on it just looks loads different as well, to be honest. It really does look good. Then the next one we had was, I think I'm getting these right, please correct me if I'm wrong, this is the Netflix version. So this is where he went, this was the, I suppose, the dirty and damaged one, which again had different deco on it as well. So actually I've realised I do need to correct myself. That wasn't the next one, of course. The next one was the Siege triple pack, which was based on the IDW design of him, which again has a different chest and also different deco on him. So what I'm going to try and do is take these back, see if we can get them all on screen at once. I'm gonna have to cover up, I think, their arms like so. So yes, the next one after that would have been the Netflix one, and then the next one after that was the Wreckers version, which was based on the comic. So we've got 5 uses of the mold, 4 of them being Impactor and 1 of them of course being Frankentron, and they've all got their own subtle little differences, and they all are great, I suppose, individual figures by themselves, but that's all of them together. Let's just very quickly move these. There's one other thing, in fact, before I bring in Draculus, I want to put the guns back in his hands. I'm going to put them, I think I'm going to go like that, to be honest, because I want to be able to display both, and I want to be able to see this, because this is a crazy sort of blast effect that just looks really, really good. So again, for people collecting other figures, there is G1. I've got Sandstorm here, funnily enough, as well. So there's G1. He's quite a bit bigger than Sandstorm, a little bit smaller than Prime. Here is some third party. So there's New Age. There is Magic Square. Here is Iron Factory. So you've got the idea of, I suppose, how big he is. Modern day figures, there's a core class 1. And then last but not least, got that mixed up, didn't I? Last but not least is Dracula's. This is, of course, how we want to see them displayed. These two are going to look great together with the others that I'm expecting to be released as well. But there you go, guys. This was a look at this year's crossover Universal Monster Frankentron. Let me know what you think of him in the comments, guys. Take care.